Did you tweet it out?
I am right now. Boom.
Okay. All right. Good job. So
better late than never.
My job is done here.
It's about time because he doesn't do shit the whole week.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh my gosh. We're
All
really
right,
doing
so,
this whole like dialogue thing again.
What?
Yeah, we're probably gonna do it every time.
Every until it works.
Well, I think it'll work. But Dawson still hasn't seen the extended versions of Two Towers and Return of the King. I don't know how that
again. Here we go again.
There's more than just Zack Snyder's Justice League that got an
I am
additional
very
cut.
well
You do
aware.
realize that.
I'm very well aware.
Oh crap!
You gotta be kidding me!
Friggin' Andre!
Now it's called an Andre.
Yeah.
That
What's
makes a lot
up,
of sense.
everybody?
Let's go!
I'm thoroughly embarrassed and my day
Flawless
is ruined.
Victory. That's all I have to say.
Flawless victory.
Yes.
I told you, I'm not a millennial. I don't. Electronics don't really work with me. So
That doesn't really apply,
what's up,
but
everybody? Thanks again for joining us. 4Nerds every Thursday. Coming at you with another freaking awesome fire guest. But before I get to that, Dawson, why don't you tell us about the extended editions of Lord of the Rings why you haven't seen them?
Are you gonna play the "I'm gonna tell you right now I don't care" video?
No, because we can't.
No, this isn't Andre's channel. Go ahead.
Yeah,
you're still gonna do it anyway. We had the theatrical versions in our house growing up. Watched those a ton of times.
it just shows what your parents got you.
Yeah, that's
no.
we had in the house.
Show the viewers at home.
Show us
what
you
your parents
just
got you.
What
because
you just
they
got.
realize, like, hey, this needs to be fixed. So here we go.
Y'all gonna make him take his whole collection down?
He knocks everything down.
Yeah, he knocks
pretty much. They got me these. Special
There you
Fire.
Let's
go.
He's still missing.
Enjoy.
one.
Those are fine. He's still missing.
Well, they didn't
one.
have the Return of the
Still
King.
missing one.
So
Still missing one.
Hey, it's cool.
They're on HBO Max. I mean,
I know that's where I watched the Fellowship of the Ring.
They are on
edition,
HBO.
Okay.
Yeah.
they are.
Goodness.
So,
gracious.
how's your week been, guys? Let's just give a really quick wrap of how your week has gone.
Terribly.
My week has been great.
Thanks
I've been looking forward to talking to Richard, for a couple weeks now, more than a couple weeks, and we finally got him on the show. He's been a very busy man lately, so get an opportunity to talk to him. Kind of talk about Army of the Dead, talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League, which before he was not able to talk about, and now he can because the movie's out, and both films are out. So
both films are out, so we should we should be able to cover a lot of ground here. And so, without further ado, I would love to bring in our guest of the week. Our guest of the week, Richard Cetrone. What's up, Richard? How you doing today?
I'm doing great, fellas. Thanks for having me on again. What is this, 3 times now?
Yes. Once you get 10, then you're syndicated. So, the checks will start coming in.
If I come on one more time, I think it's got to be called 4Nerds or 5Nerds from now on.
Hey,
yes, hey,
enough.
I'm down with that.
We're open to rebranding. It's fine. It's fire.
We'll work on the logo right now. We'll send you the shirts and a contract, an NDA, of course.
Yes.
So, what up to everybody in the chat, guys? If you have a question for Richard during the broadcast, please put your question in here. We'll go ahead and ask. We do have a couple questions from our viewers. That we'll kind of get to a little bit later, but Richard, you're just coming off of a huge success. You're just coming off of the heels of Army of the Dead. How do you feel about this particular movie in that it showcases more of your work and more of your face, even though you're behind prosthetics, but more of your performance is actually seen than I would think any other any other iteration or any other film that you've done thus far.
Yeah, probably. That's probably pretty accurate. It felt great. Zack gave me a lot more responsibility, and I enjoy that. I like the pressure of that situation. I like taking on that, having more that I can do with a character that's my own, and I can make choices with it, and I just it was fantastic. I really enjoyed the whole process.
Yeah, awesome. So you had another successful film that came out this year, which was Zack Snyder's Justice League, which Zack actually posted today, I believe, on Vero that it's enjoying a 5th week of being the top download.
Top downloaded film in the UK.
Yeah, in the UK. So I mean, I guess just having 2 films under your belt this year that came out, one of which your performance was shot a long time ago, but they both were released this year for fans and people to see and sort of consume. What are your initial thoughts on the reception of Zack Snyder's Justice League with all the different characters that you portrayed in that one?
Well, I'm just so happy for Zack. That's my first thoughts on it. I mean, this is like his year, and I'm really happy that both movies are really well liked. I mean, I just thought I was so impressed with Justice League because, of course, working on it, I don't see everything that's going on. I just kind of see the stuff that has to do with me. But I was just so happy for him, and I was so happy for Ray Fisher.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine, and I'll tell you, like, we almost never got to see that. I mean, think about that. That was an amazing performance by Ray. We almost right? So really happy for those 2 people. I think Justice League is an amazing movie. I talked to Zack a few weeks ago, and I told him I thought it's his best work yet, and I've loved all his stuff, but I think this is his best work yet. I think it's Oscar worthy. I mean, we had a comic book movie nominated for Best Picture, Black Panther, and it was a good movie. But I think it's just as good, and I think it's absolutely Oscar worthy, and just super, super happy for Zack.
I mean, on multiple levels. I mean, you got the score from Junkie XL, Tom Hulkenberg, which is just phenomenal. I mean, all the different things that happen in that movie. I mean, the action sequences and the way that things came together. Just the story in and of itself, I feel like deserves an Oscar. Like the story of Zack Snyder's Justice League coming to fruition deserves an Oscar in and of itself.
Right. So. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I can't wait. Somebody will put that to screen, the whole journey and all that, and I just hope it's an accurate representation of what happened or what went on or whatever, But it also, it's one of those stories that actually has a happy ending, even though we're still all 4 of us and others out there as well are still hashtagging restore the Snyderverse because we do still like that narrative. But we did get to see the actual Snyder cut, for the 4-hour cut that we saw. We got to see it, and the people in the UK are blessed with having that on their shelves, and hopefully one day the US will be able to share that same pride in purchasing that from Amazon or wherever and putting that on our shelves to go along with the other movies. So I guess we'll go with this question right here for you, Richard. Did you have a stunt double in Army of the Dead? And if so, which scene did the stunt double do? And did you secretly hide yourself or disguise yourself as your own stunt double because you're a stunt double by trade?
They're like, bring in the stunt doubles. He just stands there like,
he just comes in. It's me.
Are we ready? Okay.
I need a few minutes. I got to write that question down and then read it because no, I'm just kidding. I got it. The last day of shooting in Albuquerque, because we shot most of the film in Albuquerque, then we did about 6 weeks in Atlantic City. Well, the last 2 weeks in Albuquerque were really Zeus heavy. I mean, I was getting forced calls every day, and I just wasn't getting enough liquids in my body. So I tore my hamstring last day of shooting.
Wow.
Yeah. So luckily, I had a couple weeks off my first 2 weeks in Atlantic City. So I was able to rehab it and get it back to the point where I could at least do something with it. So I couldn't. There's a couple things I couldn't do. The run down the hallway when Dave Bautista's character shoots the grenade and it explodes and Zeus goes flying through the doorway. Yeah, that was Paul Darnell. And you guys have seen Paul Darnell's work before. He's been in a few of Zack's projects. Really talented free runner. He was the founder of Team Tempest. If you ever heard of Tempest, and he did that. He was also Henry's double in Man of Steel. He was a stunt.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yes.
Okay,
yes.
I know that guy now.
So,
I've seen pictures of him. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he did that, and then he did the jump into the helicopter as well. So he did those two stunts.
Okay,
Gotcha.
sweet.
So,
well, that was a fantastic question.
Did you Terry hamstring filming a scene, or was that something that happened during like training on set, or?
Yeah, I was filming the run up to jump into the helicopter. I had done it maybe, I don't know, seven times or something like that, and I'd run up on these air conditioners or something to take a final leap to the helicopter, and one of them I just felt it go, and that was it, you know.
Yeah, that's it sucks. I've pulled my hamstring. I haven't torn it, but I've pulled it, and just doing that, I was racing my son to the car, you know, on Thanksgiving, after a run. We just, you know, we'd done a run, and I pulled it, and then after I did that, I kind of felt my body sort of like it felt like I was in slow motion, you know, sort of like trying to like don't fall. So
yeah, it's a weird feeling. It's a strange feeling, and I've done it. I've pulled them many times in the past as a kid playing sports, but I've never tore it before. That was that was no fun.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. So I gotta tell you, Richard, when I went and saw Army of the Dead in theaters, I actually tagged you in a tweet when I talked about this. I went and saw it at Zeus Digital Theater. And so I was like, well, this is kind of fitting. And I just gotta say, we've had you on the show twice before. I think I've talked to you maybe 3 times actually. I think one other time on a different show, maybe, or something like that. But I just can't look at you the same again after that. Watching you as Zeus, I just can't. You were so convincing. You did such a great job as a menacing, complicated zombie, because a lot of times they make zombies like very much just one-dimensional, like they just only, you know, want to, you know, feed, right? But yours is very complex and had emotions. I do have one question in regards to emotions with Zeus. There was the scene where you take the baby out of the queen, right? And Zeus sheds a tear.
Yeah.
Was that tear one that you were able to shed on the prosthetic, or was that added in post?
You know what? I don't honestly know the answer to that, because if you could see me walking in with my queen, there was no detail on my face because everything in back was so bright, and Zack was using those lenses. So it was all washed out, so you couldn't see detail. But I was crying. There were tears coming down my face that were mine.
Oh, okay.
So when that scene happened, I know sometimes I did at that point, and sometimes I didn't. So I don't know 100% for sure. It could be. I guess the only person who knows is the editor and effects people in Zack, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I did drum him up for that scene for sure.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
We have another question here from our viewer. This is from Bat Dan, who's watching. I went skydiving dressed like Batman once. You're a Batman stunt double. What was the most dangerous stunt you did dressed as Batman?
Wow. I think riding on Joker's car. We talked about that in the last
yeah.
I think that's the only one. I mean, I did some stuff where I was dropped and landed on the ground and stuff where I picked up one of Lex Luthor's guys and shot up into the air with him.
Yeah.
That was maybe 25 feet, so I don't think I would die there.
That's comforting.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I won't die. Let's do it.
I can't think of anything I really seriously that I could have been seriously injured or died, except for that one. I think that's it. Yeah, being strapped to the top of that car, and then the stunt driver flying around, you know, Toronto, around, you know, cornering around these bends and that. That probably was it. So I mean, there was nothing super dangerous for me, and I don't think in any of those films.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Hey, Truth is up in here. He says, smash that like button. Yeah, everybody, we appreciate you guys for coming in. we tweeted this out, retweet us and like that, hit that like button. And yeah, again, if you have any questions for Richard while we have him here on the show, put them in the chat and we'll do our best to ask him. Anthony, did you have something for Richard?
Yeah.
Today?
So obviously we just talked about earlier in the show about your most time is your face wasn't on screen, but for you being on screen for the most part, like more than you have been in any other film. Like, what was it like getting that? Like, how did you become Zeus? What was that process like? Did Zack just call you? Was it a thing where you just like?
Yeah, that was it exactly. Zack called me and he said, doing this zombie movie. I have you in mind for this zombie leader. I think you'll do a good job with it. And I said, yeah, I'm interested. And I'd actually gotten a call a few weeks earlier for Suicide Squad 2 because I worked with this Aussie team was running this, and they called me and asked me to participate in that, and I was going to do it, but then something that I don't make a habit of doing because it's just not good business practice, and they're friends of mine as well. They're good guys, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I backed out of the job because it's Zack, and I just. Zack just is always going to be, the most important job that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So I still feel bad about doing it, but I got to go with Zack. He's done so much for me in my career.
Yes.
So
yeah,
that's
so I was gonna say last time we had you on the show, I believe we had a Suicide Squad sort of Batman question and as far as like was there anything that we didn't see or whatnot, and you said that you were still under NDA or that you couldn't answer the question rather. Is that still the case, or do we have carte blanche and can ask anything about that particular movie?
Well, as far as what I shot, because I was going back and forth on that movie because I was on something else as well, and Batman wasn't super prevalent in Suicide Squad. If you guys
right.
remember.
Yeah,
right.
The only thing, honestly, that I can think of is there was more on top of the Joker's car. There was more that was going on there. I was trying to saw through the top of the car, and I got through the top of it, and then Jared Leto's shooting at me through the roof of the car, and I'm dodging, and stuff. So stuff like that. It wasn't really anything major.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Gotcha. And real quick, I got to bring up, kind of going back to Army of the Dead a little bit. You obviously got in really good shape for this movie, which you usually do. You put in a lot of hard work to make sure that you're in the best physical condition you can be to do your job.
There you go.
Woo! And I gotta say, you kept saying that you got
very close to me.
No, yeah,
sure. So I just gotta say, like, you posted on Instagram that picture and said, "Well, I got as good a shape as an old guy can get," and I'm just like, Richard. You're in dang good shape.
You're shredded, man. Totally shredded. I was like, wow. I felt fat looking at that. I was like, oh man, I gotta get myself together.
So I guess getting in shape for Army of the Dead, and of course being covered in prosthetics, which may have been a little disappointing. Was it the most difficult getting in shape for that movie than previous other projects? Or I guess how does that compare to other projects where you've had to get in that good of shape?
It was probably as hard as 300. 300 was a tough one.
Yeah.
As well. Probably a little harder because I was 15 years, almost 15 years younger, close to it for that project. So it was probably a little easier. So it was tougher. As you get older, you lose muscle mass. And it gets harder. I don't know if your system works exactly as efficient as it once did, and so it's harder to cut.
Yeah, and it sucks. It sucks when you get older and you feel, certain things that either break down or the recovery is taking a little longer than it used to, or
yes.
Yeah. So
I can attest to that, yes.
Yeah. It's just one of the casualties that your body has to go through, as it ages. So we do have a good question here from Rasha. She asks, has being a main character in a film given you that acting bug? Like, is that something you're looking forward to, or you're just like, I'll do stunts until I don't look, like this anymore?
Very soon. That's a really good question. Maybe a little bit. I am trained actor. I've studied 6 years when I first moved to LA, and I want to be a better performer. Stunts was always first, but when you're an actor, if you want to sign with a top agency, and that's really what you need. You need a top agency. The smaller ones they don't really do much for you usually, in my experience. They all want you to retire from stunts. They want you to quit stunts, and at that time, I just wasn't able to do it. I have so much respect for these actors because it's such a hard industry. It's so tough. And I'm not talking about the A-listers, the one we see. They have a great life. But the ones that are struggling and to get jobs, it's a tough life. And I just wasn't willing to do it. Because I made a nice living with stunts. So the answer to that question is, I don't know, maybe. I've gotten to the point now where I'm an older stuntman, I don't know. Actually, I don't know anybody my age that's doubling lead actors in action films. They're probably smarter than me. But that might be something that I look to. I never enjoyed the audition process because I don't know.
Well, I mean, having Zeus under the belt, you really don't need to audition anymore. I mean, I'm sorry, just. You really, somebody can say, no, you don't have the job. I mean, come on now. That guy tried to tell you didn't, you're not going to have the job. He's trying to be the alpha, and you're like, no, bitch, you're the omega. Right. And
I could bring that picture with me and just show it to him. And go,
it's just like, this is what happened to the last guy that didn't hire me.
Richard, we got a chance, the three of us, myself, Anthony and Ryan, we got to watch Army of the Dead together in the theater, which is a really cool experience because, I haven't seen a movie in a theater in quite some time, let alone with a group of friends as well. And, I just wanted to let you know that I thought it was so cool. Like after talking with you a few times already, chatting with you on social media, just to see you in this movie. And like you were front and center, like, you were Zeus. I just thought it was such a cool experience. Like, dude, that's Richard Cetrone. That guy's awesome, and he did an amazing job. I was like, dude, this is zombie. Yeah, I was like, I've talked to that guy. He's awesome.
Thank you.
Like he didn't say much there, but he said a lot on our show.
Yeah, that was kind of how I was when I watched it by myself because I wasn't able to go with them. So that day. But I sat there in the theater watching, and of course, I knew we were going to talk to Samantha Wynn at some point, which we did a couple weeks ago, which was fantastic. And I knew we were going to talk to her. We had talked to you twice, and I just knew all these different people in this movie. And like when Samantha Wynn was doing her action scene, I was literally in the theater like out loud saying, "Come on, Samantha, you got this, you got this." And when you're on the screen, I was just like, "I want to pull for you, Richard, but you're making it really hard for me right now." But it was a personal thing, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why it was so hard. I mean, after all, I was the good guy. Right?
Yeah, we're all rooting for you.
You were just a guy trying to set up his own kingdom.
That's it.
They had already cut you off from the world.
That's just making the best of a bad situation. I'm not trying to hurt you.
Hey, there you go.
So, when did Zack approach you about playing Zeus for Army of the Dead? This is from Snyder Steppenwolf.
He approached me probably, let's say, a good 5 months before they went into pre-production. I guess like that 4 or 5 months before. So they wanted, he wanted me to get ripped for the movie in good shape. So I ended.
It's a great enough.
Continue, Richard. Continue.
So I had plenty of time to do that. I had plenty. So I got ripped, and I actually gained probably about 15 pounds of muscle as well. Because I'm about 212 right there, and I never walk around at 212. I walk around maybe 200 pounds. I go between 195 and 200. So I'm usually on the thinner side. So yeah.
Was that harder to do the motions and do all the things that you had to do for the character at that at that heavier weight than you're used to?
You know what? My frame carried it really well because I'm 6'3", and I'm long, right? So I just it didn't really. I thought it might. That's a good question. I really did. I thought it might slow me down a lot, but I had I felt pretty good at that weight.
Was there something that for your diet? Was there something like as soon as you got that call and Zack gave you that time to get prepared, were you like, okay, I have to cut this out right now, or I'm not going to be ready for it?
Yeah, it wasn't a big change because my diet is always more on the keto side. I'm not strict keto, but it's more on the keto side, right? So I try to exchange fats for the carbs. And get sugar, very, very tiny bit of sugar. I don't really eat sweets much.
You had to cut out on the Oreos and the M&Ms.
Yeah, the Oreos got to go. Yeah.
And the twin snakes. So
twin snakes.
Twin snakes can't go anywhere.
Yeah, so I mean, it got more serious. I had to, if I had a little piece of bread before, with lunch, I cut that out. So it just got more serious. And then of course my training got more serious.
Yeah.
Bread is the devil.
Oh, I love bread, right? Why does
it turns into sugar.
Bread is fire. Bread is so good. But yes, yeah.
It's so good. I love bread.
Yeah. So let's see. Here we go. We have another question here from Bat Dan. And after that, I'll move on to another that we have in the can. So there's a big campaign, Make the Batfleck movie. # Make the Batfleck movie. What are your thoughts on this campaign? We all know pretty much probably what they would be. And do you think this project could still happen?
I'll tell you what, after Zack's version of Justice League was released, the version of Justice League, I think anything can happen, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You guys have ever seen anything like that? I've never seen anything like that. The fans did it. The fans made it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, AT&T took notice, and then it's like, hey, and they're the boss, so it's like, all right, let's look at this. But I think it's possible. I just worked with Ben last week, and I only briefly, just about 3 or 4 days, and there he is. And
I don't know why you guys are dressed alike. Were you trying to be twins?
Yeah. I do call him and I ask him what he's wearing because I just don't feel right unless I'm dressed.
Yeah.
But I didn't ask him, and it didn't really have a lot of time. He was pretty because he was performing and directing, so he didn't have much time. But I have a feeling that that it could. I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I couldn't even give you a percentage, but I think it's possible.
And are you like 1,000% down to stunt double for him if it does happen?
Yeah, if they want me, and it's going to depend on who coordinates it, and I'm sure Ben would want me there. But like I said, I'm older. I'm older now.
Yeah.
I want to go to the wheels fall off, which could be any day now. So,
well, we always have Alfred there to bandage you up, just in case. So this thing that you did with Ben, were you his stunt double for it, or did he actually have you in like a different role?
I can't talk about it much.
Oh, sure.
All it was, he didn't need a stunt double. There was no stunts, but he brought me on to body double him, which was really cool.
No, that's nice.
That was nice of him. Just to throw me a little bit.
Nice. So I guess go through the different stages of these right here as far as like physicality and which the challenges that each one of these presented to you at the time. We have 300, Iron Man, and of course Justice League.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you how old I am, right?
Okay.
When I did 300, that picture of me in 300, I was one of the oldest stunt performers in that movie. I think I was number 2. I think I was the second oldest.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So that gives you an idea. And what was that, 2000? When did we do that one?
Was that 04? 03? Hold on, let me see. 300?
2005, maybe?
That is 06.
Yeah.
According to IMDb, 06. Yeah.
So we did it in 5. Yeah. So that's a ways back. That's a challenge. But I like that challenge. I always work with people half my age, basically.
So the Iron Man costume, I always thought, and this is just my naivete as far as like Marvel, I guess Marvel movies, was I always thought that it was just partial outfit. I didn't think that they actually used practical from the neck down. I always thought it was just maybe like torso and perhaps.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I always thought that they just sort of CG'd everything else. I didn't know that you were actually walking around in a big clunky thing like that. How uncomfortable was that outfit?
That was pretty uncomfortable.
I can imagine. Now, was it made out of ABS plastic, or was it made out of fiberglass? Or
it was a fiberglass compound.
Okay.
I think that's
a little heavier.
It was. I was working on one of Zack's film when they started that. So I came in I think I worked the last 6 weeks, 6 weeks on it. So my stuff was the Ironmonger stuff at the end when he fought the Ironmonger.
Yeah.
That was my stuff. So the suit wasn't made after my body. I don't even know it was made after anybody's body. There's some stories going around about that.
They're like, Iron Man really doesn't have a structure. It's a suit. Anyone can fit into the suit.
Yeah, just throw it on him. It's big anyway. Like,
he's big. It's big.
Were there any emotions that they wanted you to do that you were just like, yeah, I can't do that?
I got a hand pulled in that thing. You know what a hand pull is?
No.
You pulled your hand?
So a ratchet is you have a jerk vest on and they hook a wire to you, and it's either a pulley system, like a winch system, or a ratchet, right? And it jerks you really quick out of across the room or whatever, out of frame. So if you see a shotgun blast, sometimes the guy's on a ratchet, right?
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Now a hand pull is when they don't need so much power. They get about 3 guys and they just. So you end up going flying, So I did some hand pulls in that thing, and it's just not meant for that. And just getting into a stance, an Iron Man stance, it just pinches everything. But the worst part about that suit for me, this is how bad I wanted that job, because that's the first comic book superhero I ever played, and I'm you guys know I'm a huge nerd with comic books and superheroes. So I wanted that job so badly that I fit into everything perfectly. And the helmet was the worst part because not everybody could fit into the helmet. But I fit into the helmet easily. But the worst part for me were the shoes, the boots.
Really?
They were size 10. I wear size 12.
Oh, God.
So
the long shooting days must have sucked.
Dude, I jammed my feet in those things 12, 14 hours a day.
Oh.
I gotta tell you, man, my toes were numb for months. I'm not kidding. Months.
Oh my God!
It was painful. Just walking around was pretty freaking painful.
They're like, "Hey, Rich, come over here." You're like, "Yeah, I'll be right there."
Brings out crutches.
No,
All right.
Why is Iron Man walking like that? That's not heroic.
He's like, "Can we use the crane and move me over there?"
Yeah. I need those 3 guys to pull me over.
But that was awesome because, like I said, it was my first superhero movie, and I loved it. It's still awesome.
How long? This is from Lewis. How long did it take to put on the Iron Man suit?
Oh yeah,
it wasn't bad. I would say to get everything on was probably 25 minutes to a half hour, something like that.
Okay.
That's pretty good. Now contrast that to your prosthetics for Zeus for Army of the Dead. How long did that take to get on?
Well, when they first started, it was 4 hours, which was brutal because we did shots early on where Zack wanted to shoot at like dusk or daylight, just coming up on daylight. And I'll tell you, man, if the call time was 4 o'clock, mine was like 12 o'clock. 9 o'clock a.m. So it was brutal. Yeah. But they got it. These guys are so good, They got it down to about 2.5 hours around there. They just figure out shortcuts and quicker ways to do things.
Yeah. They're like, he's a zombie. It doesn't matter. Just throw some.
Well, because you filmed a lot of that in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, how was it temperature-wise? I mean, was it really hot out there?
Yeah.
And you were in the prosthetics, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, from my waist to my head, it was brutal. It was tough. I think it might have been my toughest job I've ever done because people on set are like, "Oh my God, it's so hot," and they're like wearing tank tops and shorts.
You're like, you have no freaking idea.
I was stationed in El Paso, Texas, for like 3 years, so it's very close to Albuquerque. It's ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
And Bugs Bunny always went through Albuquerque, so I can understand. I can relate.
But I mean, like when it gets super hot and you have the prosthetics on, I mean, Do you have to drink water to cool off? I mean, like, will a fan even work?
Well, I'd assume some water, Andre.
Well, I would assume so too. I'm just saying in general.
Well, he did mention how dehydrated he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because see, this stuff, they can either use latex, foam latex, or silicone.
Mm-hmm.
Foam latex will breathe a little bit, right? So that'll give you a little relief. They use silicone; it does not breathe.
Oh wow!
No.
So they would trap
But
all the sweat. And
you
I'm
look
not
so happy in this photo.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
I mean, Batman doesn't smile, but yet here you are smiling as Batman, and then Zeus shouldn't be smiling, but it looks like you're trying to smile.
Yeah.
it looks like the prosthetic sort of forced you to frown.
As close as I'll get to a smile.
So they have the prosthetics on your body as well, like your torso.
Oh yeah, from my waist,
Oh my goodness!
There, all the way up to my top of my head.
That's all silicone right there.
Yeah, it's all silicone.
Yeah.
So you're just in there roasting.
Oh yeah, it was brutal. It was really nice when we got to Atlantic City and it was cooler temperature. Oh, I love that. It was so much.
You were like, oh, thank God. This is awesome. All right, I'm having a good time.
I remember I made a negative cast of myself, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I got a lot of plaster.
You couldn't get it off. It's like, oh
no, I got a lot of plaster, and we wrapped it, or we wrapped me with plastic. And I put it all I laid in a box and let people like pour it around me because I was making a stormtrooper costume, and it started to set, and it gets hot as it's setting, and it was the worst experience ever, and I was like, no, that's okay.
Oh yeah, have any of you ever had head cast done?
Just my body cast. No.
That gets really hot.
Really?
Yeah.
And when the ones they do today, because they want to do the silicone ones, you're in there almost an hour. It's a little hot.
Oh.
That's gonna be very close.
And they just like poke holes for you to breathe, and they're just like, all right, just chill out.
Yeah.
You're like, ah.
Yeah, right in the nose. Yeah.
That's all you get. That's all
So
you
with the silicone not being able to breathe, of course, in that hot air, that hot weather, how difficult was it to maintain your weight with that?
it was almost impossible. Yeah, I little by little I dropped weight throughout that film.
Oh.
Yeah,
Sweating it off, really, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a diet like Dwayne The Rock Johnson in order to maintain that weight.
Yeah. It was tough to maintain any weight. It's tough to get enough fluids in my body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't, like I said, I don't sweat much, but I was sweating so much in there because it had nowhere to go. Sometimes on my lower abdomen, a bubble would pop out in the
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be a bubble of sweat the size of a golf ball. So the people they would pop it, and they would just the sweat would just.
And Zach's like, "Oh no, we can use that." Get the Fast 50.
And you mentioned that same post where you're talking about getting into shape for this, that you got on set and you realized, oh, your entire physique was being covered in that prosthetic.
Yeah.
Kind of speak on how disappointing that was. So like people really, I mean, you obviously would be able to show off how like in shape you got, but not to the extent that maybe you thought.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing, because my alphas, they didn't have to wear prosthetics on their chest. So they show off their hard work, right? They're like, yeah, you look great. So my ego is like going like, hey man, what the heck, So yeah. The guy who was probably more upset than me was Dave Macaro, the stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
That picture that I posted, he asked me to take that picture so he could show it to Zack and go, look, Rich looks better than the prosthetics. He goes, why don't we just in the abs, why don't we just cut out the abs of the prosthetics and then you can use everything else? But I mean, it comes down to, those prosthetics are not cheap. They paid a lot of money for those prosthetics. They're going to use them.
Yeah, sure.
And it was it really did. Honestly, it didn't bug me that much. But my ego took over with the picture, and even my son goes, "Dad, what are you doing posting up? You don't do stuff like that." I'm like, I know, but I just want. I mean, actually in good shape. Not from the movie, but I was actually in good shape.
And the prosthetics, they reuse them right every day.
No, they pitch them out.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
So once you're done, you could just tear it off and just.
Yep.
Oh,
well, yeah,
nice.
They still have to remove it with remover because it'll get right off.
Yeah. Okay.
I
was just wondering because
how much I sweat. When it was those days like that, as far as the abdomen, they could just peel that right off. You're right, because I sweat so much there, and it just
sure, yeah.
I was just asking because like I've seen behind the scenes stuff before, but they reuse it, and I was just thinking like, you know, if say for instance you're working in your yard and it's super hot, when you come in the house you could just tear those clothes off and do whatever. And I was thinking like I just wanted to know like the process of taking it off. If you had to sit there and wait for somebody to painstakingly just slowly take that stuff off after you've had it on for like 18 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, but you know that wasn't horrible because it took about an hour to get everything off, and you know if you compare that to the application.
Yes.
Okay, well I think that answers this question here. What is your favorite moment working on the set of Army of the Dead? Probably taking off the prosthetic.
He's like, turn on the fan. Turn on the fan.
Zeus wants cold air.
I have a favorite scene. I mean, there's a scene that we shot, and it's. I got a long answer for this, so I'll try to keep it short.
No, you're fine.
Take your time.
Go ahead.
The fight that I had with Omari Hardwick towards the end of the movie, that was actually set up by another fight. Actually, I have a picture, and one day I'll probably release it. You know, once I'm sure that it's safe. And in fact, on Netflix, I saw it on a Netflix ad though, so maybe I can't release it. But I had this. My biggest fight in the film is cut out of the film. It never made the film.
Wow.
And I had a showdown with Omari. It was one of my favorite moments of shooting. Nice. And Omari has his chainsaw, and I walk up to him, and I'm like, my face is inches away from his chainsaw, like I'm daring him to use it on me, right? Yeah. And we have this wonderful showdown. And it was nice because it explains a lot, you know, for the end of the movie when we have our final showdown when we're finally going to do it, right? But it was just one of those things where it didn't work because I know Zack and he loves action, and I know it killed him to have to cut that out. But I think it just gave away too much of my character too early in the film, and they just, you know, but that was probably one of my favorite parts to shoot in the film, and working with Omari was fantastic. He's definitely one of the most giving actors I've ever worked with. Any ego that guy has, he leaves it at the door. He wants to do whatever's best for the scene, whatever's best for the film, and he honestly enhanced his decisions for his character, and even suggestions he gave me enhanced my character so much. I can't tell you like how much of a joy it was working with that guy.
I'd say what I can't wait for the bonus features whenever Army of the Dead gets on disc.
I know.
Like, that deleted scene's there.
It's a cool fight. It's my longest fight in the movie. There's some really cool stunts the stunt performers did. I mean, I tear them up. It's really a cool scene.
Oh, dude, that's fire.
Yeah.
Maybe a flashback in one of the sequels, right?
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
That'd be cool. We have a question that was sent in from The Truth 31. And do you have any idea of how iconic the BVS warehouse scene would be, I guess, when you were shooting it?
You know, we did not. I just can tell you that we really took it seriously. We really took that whole fight seriously because we wanted to show a representation of Batman that we felt up to that point really hadn't been done for various reasons. And you know, we rehearsed really hard. We rehearsed 2 months before we even got to Detroit. We rehearsed 5 days a week for 2 months on that scene.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we really did. I think that was one time in my career I think I got the very most out of a scene that I possibly could, because I'm my own worst critic. I always watch things and go, oh, I should have done this.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think we all got the very most out of that scene that we possibly could. So I'm really glad people appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have no idea how much we appreciate that.
And I'll tell you guys something real quick. The Christian Bale movies, I didn't really care for the fights in those, right? I wasn't a big fan. And then I got to know the stunt double, Christian Bale stunt double, Buster Reeves, who is a freaking amazing martial artist. Amazing. They're great martial artists. And he told me that, you know, that he couldn't do, he really didn't do the fights. They wanted Christian Bale's face as little as was shown. They wanted him doing the fights, you know. So it's a bummer that he wasn't able to show, you know, his skill and his abilities in those fights. 'Cause I think they would have been a lot better, you know. But Christopher Nolan's the boss, and he wanted, for his reasons. And the movies are great. You can't deny that they're great movies. I just thought the action could have been a little better. And then once I met Buster and got to befriend him, then I found out why. Because it's just a bummer, because those could have been some really cool fights.
Yeah, it's probably one of my bigger criticisms of the Dark Knight trilogy too. As good as they are, like you mentioned, they're fantastic movies, well done by Christopher Nolan. But yeah, the fight scenes, I can't remember what the form of the martial art is, where like it's a lot of forearm fighting, but just the fact they utilized a lot of that with Christian Bale having to learn it, which is impressive in and of itself. But I do agree, it had it lacked.
Well, in Batman Begins especially, which is my favorite of the trilogy, is that they did a lot of cutaways and a lot of things where you can't really get an overview or a big grasp of what's going on in the scene.
Yeah, it's a lot of quick shots of him swinging.
Yeah, a lot of quick shots, and I'm like, I get it, but I think like the warehouse scene, or hell, even the Batman '89 when they're in the alleyway or whatever, just some establishing shots of like what's really going on just kind of helps the viewer, sort of figure things out, and it's also impressive to kind of see these things. And like yourself and other stunt coordinators and stunt men and women, I'm sure that they all want to kind of see a little bit of what they were doing or what they trained for however many months it was before the actual filming took place.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's so impressive about the the whole warehouse scene that you did with in BVS is that it shows it fully shows all the movements and all the action. It's filmed so well and it's done so well, and it's so iconic when it comes to Batman, especially nowadays. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, obviously, what was it like, reuniting with Zack on the set of Army of the Dead? And just being on the set with him, being on set with with that team, what was that like?
It was fantastic, and I'll tell you why. Justice League, well, the reshoots or the additional photography in Justice League were fun when we did that last October. It was that was fun, but most of Justice League when we filmed in the UK, it didn't feel like a typical Zack set, right? It was great because I got it was the same, most of the same team and stuff, and people that I've worked with on his films for years. So that was really nice. But it was just there was like a cloud over everything. It just he was getting so much BS laid on him, and it was just really right. It was hard because you could see him stressed out. When I first saw him, I could see he was so in typical Zack fashion. You never saw any signs of it from him, as far as him, unleashing on someone or losing his temper on someone.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
That's just not him. He just doesn't have that in him. He's such a classy, good guy, but I could see it really taking its toll on him, and it was tough. And then going back for the Joss stuff was even tougher, and there was a few of us there that were from his people, his crew. Yeah, and we all just were. It was just rough on all of us. We didn't really enjoy being there, and
it just felt weird.
We're going to do our best, of course. But it just
professionals. Yes,
didn't feel great. So being on the set of Army of the Dead and it being back to normal. The whole atmosphere just being really positive and upbeat. Zack just making it memorable and fun for everyone, doing great work and having a good time as we do it. It was business as usual again, and I personally really enjoyed it.
So from what I get from what you're saying is it just felt like Zack was back in his element.
Yeah,
must have been great to see.
And he has Netflix supporting him, right? Instead of the studio fighting him, he's working with a studio that's supporting him.
And promoting him all the time, which is such a contrast. Like in interviews, Zack has talked about how he even mentioned, like, compared to other things, I have a lot more freedom here. Like they are really enjoying the things that I'm pitching. I'm sure it's just a brand new world for him because a lot of his career he's been working with Warner Brothers, and I guess a lot of that also with you in tow.
Yeah, for sure. And there were times. I mean, we had there was a great relationship with Warner Brothers for a while, and he did some great work with them, and I guess it just got to a point where if there's a small group of people for a studio and they all happen to be executives and maybe they don't trust your vision anymore, then that's going to be a problem,
Right.
But thankfully, there's people above them that did trust his vision, and did want to see the his version of Justice League, and it happened, and now look what we have. Look what we have, a great movie. We have great performances by a number of actors. I mean, even Steppenwolf, like everybody understands Steppenwolf so much better now. You understand why.
Yes.
You
kind of sympathize with him.
Yeah. I mean,
especially
it's really fleshed out. Yeah.
Yeah. When he's speaking to Desaad and he's like talking to like the whole whatever it's called, the type of communication device Desaad has. Anyway, and he says Desaad, like he's all sad, like trying to plead for himself. When I first saw that, I was like, dude, this is so different, and I actually like this guy.
Yeah, you kind of feel a little bit for him.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I guess, tell us a little bit about another couple of things you did, like this right here. It's fire. I'm sorry, but like for me, this scene 38 remastered is definitely something that I mean, hell, you have the special editions. This is definitely something that needs to be added to the original to the original film at some point. Wow. I would love to see Ewan McGregor actually jump in there and go toe to toe with Cetrone. Because I mean, I really love well, just to make sure that I mean, because the sword play you did here was fantastic. You reminded me of oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. The actor that originally played him that never got a chance to show his face.
David Prowse.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean the way you moved, I was like, yes, that seems to be like that's how David would move.
Well,
in that
I
kind of
can
situation.
tell you, part of that is of us wanting to keep it. We wanted to upgrade the moves a bit, not too much. We didn't want it to be real fancy, a lot of twirls and stuff like that. But we wanted to upgrade the moves a bit and make it a little more modern, and the way it was shot. Phil wanted to make it a little more modern the way it was shot. And to be honest with you, part of that is that, and part of that is that suit. I mean, as soon as I got in it and started working, I understood his movements a lot better. Because the shoulder piece comes down, right?
Yes.
It enables you from going with the lightsaber much higher than that.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Doing this is pretty much impossible. So we modified it a little bit, cut out a little section of each shoulder, and I was able to go up to about like there.
Okay.
You saw these movements with him like this, right?
Right.
And that's why he had very limited movement in it. So that was tough working around that. But I mean, that character, I mean, I'm a huge Star Wars fans, like I'm sure you guys are. But I mean, that was another dream. Darth Vader, are you kidding me? That was amazing. That was 16 hours. One day we shot that in one day, 16 hours. It was a tough day, but loved it. I mean, that was, another one, another check mark I can take off.
There you go. Heck yeah. I mean, you've done stuff on actual Star Wars projects, and then you also got to do this, which was very imaginative and I think more imaginative than the bigger companies, kind of are able to do, because fans are able to get away with a lot more, I believe, than a studio was able to get away with, as far as like coming across positively with the fandom.
Well, there's less red tape that that fans have to deal with. They have no red tape, right? And it's a lot of red tape.
Yeah,
that's true. So one thing I do want to kind of point out. So in Army of the Dead, of course, you start out breaking out of the whole containment, get the soldiers, you go to Las Vegas. I'm curious as to why the first place we see, or I guess we get inclinations to where Zeus goes, is a Las Vegas showgirls room. Why does Zeus go there first? Like, I saw the movie and I was like, Zeus, you dog.
Obviously, Zeus can read.
Yeah.
My first thought is to find my queen, right? And what better place to go?
That's true.
There you go.
Good point.
Well, you could do like Eddie Murphy and go to Queens.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, that just cracked me up. I thought that was pretty funny.
So Richard, have you ever taken anything from set that you've gotten from whatever movie you've worked on? You just been like, yeah, I might need to take this because this is something that I just want to remember for forever. So have you ever been given anything by director when you left?
No, I've never taken anything. Nope, never. No, I
except for these suits.
my cow, my Batman cow, I never got that. That bummed me out a bit.
Oh yes,
yeah, because I mean, isn't that like molded to your to your?
Yeah, that's molded to me.
Yes,
you told us about that last time about the cow. Yes,
yeah,
so horrible.
From Army of the Dead, I got my dog tags from Army of the Dead, which is really cool because they have my name on it.
Oh, nice.
That is cool.
Nice.
I got that, but I mean, there's little things they're willing to part with.
Yeah.
The really cool stuff is usually the top actors. They'll get that stuff, but the top performers, we don't usually get the real good stuff.
On 300, I totally would have just taken a gym bag into work one day and just taken that Spartan helmet. I totally would have done that if I were in your position.
Like, hey, Richard, where's your helmet? I don't know.
I refuse to comment. I refuse to comment on that.
He's like staring at it right now.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know where that thing went. I don't know where it went.
Yeah. Zach hasn't been over to your place in how long? So, like, just don't go in that room.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing's in there.
It's storage. Big messy office. Don't want to go in there. Anyway.
So zombies. So
Richard,
how was it? You like playing on monsters and all kinds of. So did you get to play Valentine?
No, that was Albert Vallejades.
Okay.
Yeah, he played Valentine. He's a stunt performer, a free runner, just probably the most athletic person I've ever known.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Just insane. Yeah. And of course they're gonna have him do the tiger. Yeah.
Because we do know you from working as an animal in different genres.
Wow,
so
look at those arms.
Look at those arms. I mean, look, you were working out. I mean,
you said you were lengthy,
traps.
but like, dang.
Oh yeah, he did say he was long. Long arms. Look at that.
Long arms.
Yes.
I didn't lie.
So I guess take us through this. How did these different how was it in this era of your career versus your current, what you've been doing now? I mean, were you hungrier back then? Were you just like, I don't care what you put me in, just put me in something? Where now you can be a little bit more selective, or
I think that they look to me. I can't remember the first job I did. The creature on the left was Stan Winston's at the time.
Yes.
Now Legacy Effects, right? The one on the right was Totopoulos at the time. That was from Underworld. So the one on the left's Time Machine. The one on the right is Underworld. I think that's Underworld Evolution.
The other two are Underworld. Yeah.
That's my son that's my son on my lap. So he visited me on Evolution, and the one in the corner was the original Underworld we did in Budapest.
Yeah.
But I'm 6'3" and I'm thinner, on the thinner side. So that's kind of what these creature shops look for. They look, and if a person's athletic, that's all the better. And if they're a good performer, man, that's great. They want to use you, a lot. So I just it's just something that somehow I don't even remember where. I don't remember my first job with them. I'm not even sure what it was.
I think it was back then. You were on the Abyss.
Oh no, that's
not the Abyss.
No, that's not the Abyss.
That's Man of Steel.
Ryan. We're gonna ban him later from the 4Nerds.
Yeah.
Your invitation will be coming in the mail shortly.
Well, it's just something that I actually really enjoy doing. I like doing things that are tough for some people. I like the challenge. I like challenging myself. And suit work is a challenge. It's tough. You have to have the right mindset for it. And I got good at it. And there's a skill to being creature-like.
You have to be a little bit more exaggerated with your movements and things like that as well. Versus just.
Did you see Joey's comment?
Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
It's just funny.
Yeah, he made a little pun. Seems like Richard has taken a liking to stunt work.
Hey, so you can turn around and grab your sticks and hit the drums and just give us that drum roll.
He does it with the headphones on.
Yeah. I was like,
Just
that was good. All we hear is. So, sorry for that interruption, but I guess how was it being a Lycan? We'll go with that.
It was cool. I got to work with Kate Beckinsale, so that doesn't suck.
No.
How many different creatures were you in the Underworld series?
I think I was 2. Well, I was 3. I was the white Lycan just for that was Brian Steele's character. I just did that for a day or 2 because he was on another show. But then the normal Lycans, and then I was that bat creature. I had a fight with Kate on a bridge, and I was a bat creature. I can't remember the name of the creature. It was Marcus's when Marcus turned into a bat.
Oh yeah, right. And then he busted through that wall and attacked Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne. It was like,
he's mixing things up again. But that was another prosthetic suit you had to wear was in BBS when you're wearing the big bat suit. When you attack Ben, yeah, because it's funny because when I first saw that scene, I actually thought that was a like a CGI shot or whatnot.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a.
I saw the picture of you in the suit, and then I was like, wow, they actually had somebody in a suit. That's insane. And of course, it was Cetrone.
Yeah. Well, Zack asked me, "Hey, you want to be the bat creature?" I'm like, "Yep, why not?" Because Steve Wang, is a freaking genius. Visual special effects person. He sculpts these amazing creatures, and he worked. He's actually one of the guys who originally worked on the Predator, right?
Okay.
So
wow,
really awesome. So he was the one that designed the character and applied the prosthetics, and so it was fun to work with him again. So I was like, yeah, of course, I'm going to do it.
Have you ever worked with Rick Baker?
You know what? I have not. He's one of the rare shops that I've never worked with. I've met him before. He has no idea who I am. I just met him at a Comic-Con.
I doubt that through everything.
He probably knows you now.
Come on now. Through everything that you've been, come on now. And this, he can't deny that. Come on now.
Quite the resume.
The resume. And that's just a fraction of the stuff that I could grab.
Those are the images that you should show when you go to jobs. Look at all this and look at me with my shirt off. One of the questions I want to ask you was, when you do Zack's movies, working with the stunt coordinator like Eunice, what is that like? Because I know she recently did an interview with Lightcast, and she seems like a really cool person, especially I would imagine to work with as well.
Yeah, Eunice is cool. She has such a thick accent that you have to get used to first. Because when we first met her, I had no idea what she was saying. Right? But
she's like, he'll be in there for 14 hours.
Once you get used to her accent, she's a very cool person. She has a really good heart, a nice person, good coordinator. And it was, a pleasure working with her. That her whole team was very cool people, and she's another one of those coordinators that she hires good people. She doesn't want any rotten apples that are gonna, cause any issues. It was a fun experience. It made the job easier for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, because she was there on the set of Justice League. Is that right?
Yeah, Eunice was the coordinator, stunt coordinator for Justice League. Yeah, Damon Caro was doing Wonder Woman at the time. And then when he finished Wonder Woman, he came and did some second unit directing on Justice League.
Okay, and so they didn't use the stunt team, or I guess the normal stunt team for most DC movies on Wonder Woman 84. Has that changed for the Flash?
I honestly don't know. I'm really not involved with the Flash at all. I haven't got any calls. I heard Ben is working on or going.
Ben is he's in it. We don't know what capacity.
Yeah,
but he's definitely one of those starring in it. Yeah.
So I honestly don't know if they don't have any stunts, if it's just acting for him, or they just figured we're just going to grab, we're going to grab a UK guy and have him do whatever he's going to do. I really don't know. I haven't been notified of it at all. But yeah, I really don't know. I know that DC, I think they're planning on doing more stuff in the UK. So I don't know. Who knows?
Well, they're more kinder to Zack Snyder's Justice League in the UK, so that's a plus. That's a plus.
Yeah.
But we do. We got to a segment to where we can do some of the video questions. We have a couple of your fans that have given us video questions for you. Okay. I'm going to pull one up now. This is from Allie. She's another fifth nerd. And go ahead and play that for us, Andre.
Hey, Rich. Just want to say it was awesome to see you front and center of Army of the Dead. You totally nailed it. I can't wait to see more of Zeus in the animated series. My question for you is, knowing the long history that you and Zack have, was there a particular movie or even a specific scene or sequence that proved to be especially difficult or challenging for some reason? Thank you for taking the time to answer my question, and can't wait to see the two of you do more awesome work together.
Allie.
And it was soft spoken, but did you get that?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you, Ali, for the kind words. I appreciate it. There was a scene or a movie that was particularly difficult to do. Is that what it was? Because it was hard to hear.
Yeah.
It was. I'll tell you the scene that was rough. And do you remember in BVS at the end of the warehouse scene, the Martha rescue, where I come through the wall and grab the guy?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the guy that I grabbed is actually Albert Vallejartis, the Spider, right?
Okay.
He's the guy that I grabbed, So we worked so many hours on getting that right because I had a little pinhole to look through.
Oh my God.
Oh.
And I have these, these thick leather gloves, and he has his hand in the trigger, and I got to get my hand on that handle and in that trigger. It just barely can fit with the gloves, and I have to grab him around the throat and do all this in a smooth motion. It was just. Put it this way: they built 8 walls.
Oh, man. Ask you how many takes.
How many times you dropped the gun? Like, oh, damn it!
Freaking walls, because they're like, this is going to be hard. Everybody knew it was going to be hard, and it was one of the first things we shot. But me and Albert rehearsed this over and over and over and over again. Me finding him adjusting to me so we could do it just perfectly right, and hopefully I come through that wall and there's not too much dust in my face and I can see something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we did it on the day. First take, we nailed it. One take.
Nice.
One take Cetrone, that's what they call him.
One take Cetrone.
Yeah,
So you didn't have to use the other 7 walls. That must have frustrated the set designers.
Construction walls for nothing. Ticked at me because they're like, come on, man, we got all these walls. Now we did all that work for nothing. That was tough. That was a tough one. That was probably the toughest part about that whole scene, is coming through that wall.
And each wall is a different material. Like this one's plaster of Paris.
Yeah, they throw a steel one in just to mess with it.
Yeah. This one's made of latex.
Just a joke. Just a boom. Oh, God. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, sorry.
So could you tell what that wall was made of, or did they tell you, or did you just kind of?
I don't know. I did some testing with them. I went over to their shops because they wanted me to see exactly how tough it would be to go through the wall. I don't remember what it was made of, but it was pretty easy to go through it. You use a little bit of effort, you could pop through it pretty easy.
If you'd said concrete, Dawson would have been like, "Oh wow, okay."
Stainless steel. Got it.
Apparently, I'm gullible now, but okay.
But I bet you on the set, if you'd have said, "Wait, what's this wall made of?" Before we get started, latex. What? That doesn't breathe. Richard, calm down. No latex.
The next wall is silicone. Like, no!
Somebody give me some water.
All right, we have another question here from Ryan from The Real Burn. Ryan Rivera. And go ahead and play that for us, Andre.
Hello, 4Nerds. And this is my question for Richard Cetrone. So, Richard, would you be down for returning to double Ben Affleck's Batman in a Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2 or 3? or would you be down for returning to double him in a solo Ben Affleck Batman film with Deathstroke as the main villain?
Okay, so we know the answer is no.
Well, because he said "or," does that mean it was a question? I have to pick between one or the other?
I think it was or the other, and then he also said, Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 or 3. So I'm thinking that he wants to skip 2 and just get right to 3, the bare bones.
If I had to pick, honestly, if I had to pick one or the other, I don't know how I could do that because I want to do them all, right? I'd rather do them all. And I don't want to let Zack down. I don't want to let Ben down. Mm-hmm. I really, really want to fight Deathstroke.
Yo, that's fire.
That would be amazing.
He's like, I just really want to punch Joe Manganiello in the face.
That would have to be a coin flip, a coin toss, because I don't know. I'd want to do all of them, to be honest with you.
Right.
That
was a good
all
question,
right. Well, that was a good question. We have another one in the barrel. This is from Phil.
Yes, it's from Phil
Connors.
Phil Connors. Here we go.
Hello, Richard. My name is Philip. My question for you is, I just wanted to know if there was any particular sequence or coordination that you and Damon Caro came up with that you will remember for the rest of your career and the rest of your life. Is there one in particular that just stands out to you the most? You're just like, yeah, I did that, and that is by far the most accomplishing thing I've ever done. I would love to know. Huge fan of all your stunt work. Huge fan of even Army of the Dead. Did a fantastic job. Keep up the great work. We'll see. Well, I will watch you wherever you go. Thank you.
Every breath you take.
Wow.
So Stalker Phil asks.
No. Don't listen to him, Phil. Thank you.
We love you, Phil. We love you, Phil.
Phil's fire.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That would be the opening fight scene to Watchmen. That would be
yes. God, such a good scene.
Yeah, that's the one that Damon and I put that together, and I think I love the Batman stuff. It's my favorite character I've ever done, but I think Watchmen might be my favorite fight. Even though I love the warehouse fight, I love it to death. I think that Watchmen fight, because I had nothing to hold me back. I'm not in a big latex suit just struggling to get a punch out, right? Just struggling. I got to really move and fly, and it was a lot of fun. And Damon, is one of my closest friends, and to work with him is always a joy. And so I would say that went inches the warehouse fight.
Yeah, and that's one. I love it so much, but that's one where it's just like you have a few panels in this graphic novel that you have to create that fight from. It's not like a full spread in the book. It's there's just a few panels when the detectives are talking and they're going back over what happened to the comedian, and that's incredible, man. I love it. It's fire.
Oh, cool. That's a good point. Very good point. Because if you remember, the graphic novel doesn't really cover the fight at all.
Right. And it was funny. I think you posted a picture of you on the set doing that with like the blonde hair. I don't know if it was like you dyed it or if you had a wig. But of course, talking to you twice and you had the same hair as you do now, it was just so odd. It was like, that's Richard? Hold on. I have to re-examine this. Yes, absolutely. I echo Anthony. That fight was absolutely
incredibly brutal, and everything about it is fantastic. It's fire. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great opening sequence. So it's pretty awesome.
It's probably my favorite in any movie, period.
Well, it's so good. And I remember before when we had you on previously, you were saying how during the filming of that scene that Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I guess he moved down right where you were going to punch and you almost hit him in the face. And so every time I watch that, I think about it. I was like, I always look for that scene. I'm like, where was that shot where he almost hit him in the face? But it's just so cool just to know, like, just the stories of of what happened during the production. This is really, really cool.
Yeah. That was glad I have good control.
Yeah. You just end up knocking out Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He's out of commission for a couple weeks.
He's like, don't worry about it, guys. Richard. I can play Thomas Wayne. All right, so we have another question from another viewer.
Guys, hope you're having a great show, Mr.
Okay, so you're going to play it? I was going to set him up. Go right ahead. I guess
it's from File, so it plays automatically when you bring it up. Same with the next one as well, so get ready for that.
Okay. Well, so do you have an answer for this question?
Yeah, it was that quick. Yeah.
Hey guys, hope you're having a great show, Mr. Cetrone. What an honor and a pleasure. I would love to one day get to talk to you way more in detail. And thank you to the 4Nerds for allowing me to do that. My question for you today is, what is the most challenging and rewarding part of stunt work, especially for comic book films? All right, guys, hope you have a great rest of your show, and I'll be sure to talk to you soon.
All right, no baloney, Cetrone.
Hey, you know what? He's not wrong. He's not
wrong.
Oh,
the E, yes.
You know, my grandfather changed it because, like, when I was in Italy, I showed the waiter at this restaurant my driver's license, and I said, "Can you tell me how you pronounce that last name?" And he said, Cetrone.
Oh, so the che. Okay.
So he was right.
So he's actually not wrong.
Yeah. Right.
But I think that the biggest challenge is really, there's been so many comic book movies made now and so many superheroes that have fought in these movies. I think the challenge is to be original, and to come up with choreography that will wow people and will it's good for the story, it's good for the audience, and just coming up with original stuff, and then performing it. Then once you get that choreography and you're performing it, coming up with all the best choices within that performance to perform it well, so that it doesn't look like the same old thing. This is fresh for the viewer to see.
Yeah, that's a great point, because especially over the past 2 decades, the movie industry has been saturated with comic book hero content, to where sometimes those fights can kind of bleed together and feel like they're just the same thing over and over again. And finding something that is unique, like, for example, again, the warehouse scene or the Watchmen opening scene, something that's unique to that regard. I must say, I feel like you and your team of stuntmen, with Damon Carl, of course, have done probably some of the best job of making it feel fresh and unique compared to a lot of others. I mean, no discredit to other people, because a lot of people do a great job and there's a lot of work going into that. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of your work, of course, being biased saying this, of course, is some of the most unique out there. And so it definitely shows in the effort you make to make them unique.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Damon is fantastic, has a fantastic eye. He always puts together, we have a core team that he uses a lot, and they're all amazing. I probably told you guys this before, but they're all amazing performers. It's so easy when you work with people like that, So yeah,
it creates an environment where performing is almost more natural, I assume.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely, for sure.
Well, there's a developed comfortability, and you guys can sort of maybe even, it's kind of like playing with a band, you can just sort of, you can riff off each other. You kind of know each other's moves a little bit, kind of like dancing as well. So it just makes it a lot more easier for you to sort of meld whatever, because you guys are a well-oiled engine nowadays, much like this photo here. So we have another question. This is from Taylor Murphy. I'll go ahead and set that up because
it's going to play automatically.
Yeah, just go ahead and go. Here we go.
Hey, Richard, big fan. Had a couple questions for you. Admittedly, you probably won't be able to answer the first one, but have to ask anyways. With the Army of the Dead prequel animated series coming out, will you have any involvement in the series? And hopefully, will you be voicing the soldier Richard, who later becomes Zeus? Or was your involvement in the project strictly on the live-action film? Second question is, now that Zack Snyder's Justice League has come out, what was your favorite on-set story that you have, or favorite on-set memory from the production back in 2016 when they were filming? Again, huge fan. Love to see you back again on Lightcast with us. Can't wait. Thanks again.
Okay, so first question was, do you have any involvement in the animated prequel, or do you voice the character Richard who becomes Zeus? Which obviously probably can't answer, but that's the first question.
Private Cetrone.
But thank you for the question, and I appreciate your kind words. Thank you. I had nothing to do with the prequel. So yeah.
Gotcha.
As far as my favorite memory from 2016, I don't know if I have one. That was a tough job. That was a really tough job. I mean, I'm sure I do. But I can tell you this. I have a favorite memory from the additional photography we did. Okay. For Zack's version.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So Jared Leto and Ben's schedules didn't match up. So when Ben could come in, Jared couldn't be there, and when Jared could come in, Ben couldn't be there. So Zack asked me if I would get dressed in the bat suit and run lines against Jared, run Ben's lines. So studied all the lines, and went in and did it. And I'll tell you, man, it was awesome. I mean, like reading lines with an Academy Award winner doesn't suck, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't suck. Yeah. It was fantastic. I loved it. And it was really cool. We definitely developed a rapport. I mean, he was really complimentary of me, and he told Zack, I loved how we had this, neither one of us would blink thing going on, and so it was cool. It was really, really cool. I'll tell you what, he was a different person than he was on Suicide Squad.
That's right. You were there.
He stayed in character. Like he was the Joker all the time that I saw. And I wasn't there all the time, but what I saw. But on this one, I introduced myself to him. He goes, I remember you. He goes, I remember you from Suicide Squad. He goes, I remember you. You like, I felt Batman when I saw you, and I was like, oh, that's cool. All right, I'm doing something right, But he was really, very cordial, very nice, and wasn't in character like he was in Suicide Squad. And I got to know kind of the real him a little bit, which was really, really nice. And he's a good guy, and I really enjoyed that. I really, really. And speaking of things that you get from sets, the prop master gave me the card.
Wow!
No! I got the card. Yeah. So
how jealous has Ben?
So that was fun. That was really fun. I really, really enjoyed that. That was cool.
So I guess since you were the one, on set with and speaking against Jared, anything between your iteration or your interaction with him that modified how the scene went? Like, did they make notes? Or like, oh man, this is better this way. Let's change this up a little bit, or was it just strictly verbatim what was written and that's what was performed?
I don't know, but I can tell you, reading right off of the sides, when Ben did it, they did change up the dialogue a little bit, because I swore in one part of it. I can't remember what the line was, and then Ben didn't swear, so I think they got rid of that. But I don't know if there's anything from my performance that they really looked at and said, this is cool. Let's do it like this or anything like that. I was just being Batman. I was just, and it's like I don't know if I'm this. I don't know how great of an actor I am, but I can tell you I've loved this character since I was a kid, and I should know it somewhat. I should be able to play it somewhat. So. Yeah. So
in that scene, since you were in that scene, did you get any sort of backstory, like who was the girl, who was the boy that the Joker was talking about, and as far as like context?
I got a little bit from Zack. I asked him a few questions about that. I got a little bit of context. I didn't ask him that. I probably should have. That's pretty important.
He's like, here, read this. You got it.
Yeah. Who did I assume? I assumed it was someone at the time, and I played it like it was them, and now I can't even remember who it was.
Because I always assumed that the girl was Harley and the boy was Robin, Dick Grayson.
I think that's what it was. I think that's how I played it. That it was
leading the witness.
Yeah. So you were saying that you suited up as Batman because Ben wasn't able to be there when Jared was there. So when Ben was there and Jared couldn't be there, did you suit up as the Joker? Really?
Oh, did.
Wow. Okay.
He did. Yeah.
Did he actually like suit up, or he just like sat there and read the lines?
He suited up.
Wow.
We need to see pictures of this.
I know.
Yeah, with the long hair.
Yeah.
Release the Damon Caro cut.
Yeah. Release the Caro cut.
Caro cut.
Yes, let's see that.
Yeah, he did a great job too.
You were there for that as well?
I was there. Yeah, I was there the whole time. So I got to see Ben when he came in. It was
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it like even just getting the call from Zack saying, hey, Rich, we're going to shoot some more scenes. I'd love you to come down. I mean, that must have been pretty cool.
It was very cool. I mean, anytime I get to see work with Zack and our, the people we work with, it's, it's really become a family over the years, and I've worked on every one of his films, his live action films. I didn't do his animated film, but I've worked on every one of the live action, and it does. We become, a family, so, I know it won't last forever. There's going to be a film he's going to do, and there's not going to be anything for me in it. And I understand that, but we have a really good working relationship and a good friendship, and I do appreciate them both.
That's what's important.
One of the questions that I mean to ask you was, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, when you were wearing the mocap suit and you were doing the lines for Steppenwolf, like when you were holding the guy in the air saying, were you actually like saying the lines that Kieran Hines would later, be dubbed over? So were you saying the lines like, the sense of the mother box is on you? I mean, like we go into through all the lines.
Yeah, I did all those lines. Yeah,
wow, that's really. And then you were taller, so like they had you on stilts or like on these like taller boots, or
on that scene where I'm holding the janitor. I was standing on a box.
Oh, okay.
And did they make you wear size 10 shoes?
See, it's not as fun when you know what's behind the curtain, is it?
Was it a wooden box or perhaps
he's like, actually it was a crate. Oh, okay.
Crate?
That's cool.
So we have a question here. Is there any history lesson scenes that were cut from the 4-hour cut?
Not that I know of. No, it was really fun and really nice to see that the way it should have been. We sacrificed the Batman fight at the beginning, right? Which I worked on that. But the way I explain that to people is, look what you got though. You sacrificed the scene, but look what you got in exchange.
Yeah.
So it was really tough because for years, as this is building, people are going, "Oh, I bet they." They would write me on Facebook or Instagram, and they would say, "Oh, I bet there was so much good Batman action, that was cut out, and we're going to see." And I was thinking, I can't say anything, but I was thinking, no, you're actually going to get less Batman, right? You're going to get a much better movie. It's going to be way better.
Yeah,
it's going to be a nice trade-off.
Oh yeah, I mean, it couldn't get much worse than what happened in 2017 with what Warner Bros. Released. I mean, there was articles that came out saying that even the executives knew. Them putting out Justice League 2017 was.
Well, but then you had people coming out saying they loved it.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's horrible. Why would you? I don't understand. That's just weird. That's just weird.
But I thought it was cool that in Zack's version of the film, at the end, Batman had, to me, he had a much more established role in that final battle where he was, going on the tower, the spire. He was going through and taking out all the cannons so that because they were trying to hit Flash. And so that was really cool to see that, and to see, Batman use the cannons to shoot the parademons. That was really cool, and those were shots that we had never seen before, ever.
Yeah.
And I'll post some pictures for you soon.
Oh, sweet!
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
It's a 4Nerds exclusive.
It's a Cetrone exclusive.
It's a show exclusive.
5Nerds exclusive. Come on, get it right.
Yeah, there we go. Five Nerds.
Rebranding.
Good point.
Yeah, 5.
You heard it here first. Cetrone's a 5th nerd.
But it's incredible to think that there was so much that was shot. And we got to see so much more of this movie and the story that Zack had shot. And it's not like he had the opportunity to go back and reshoot some of the scenes that most directors get to do, pickups and all that.
Yeah.
He had to basically shoot principal photography. And then other than the additional photography that you guys shot, he had to use what he shot back then to make that movie. And it still turned out, in my opinion.
He also used Man of Steel footage.
He did.
Yeah.
And BVS footage,
but it still turned out, in my opinion, at least, it turned out to be one of the, if not the best, comic book movies that's ever existed.
I agree,
and that's how good of a job he did.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why Restore the Snyderverse is such a trending thing, and it's not going anywhere. I mean, people still it's just as prevalent as release the Snyder cut. You know, I mean, it would be fine if it's like, you know, hey, just let it breathe, let it have its day. You know, I mean, just like the Snyder, Snyder cut. If it's not palatable, if nobody's going to see it, if nobody cares, then okay, obviously let's put our financial interest somewhere else. But it just seems to me, and this is just my personal opinion, that it's more personal than it is financial or business.
I would have to agree with you. I mean, there's no other answer, is there?
No. Yeah.
We see it's a hit. The movie's a hit with critics and fans.
Yeah.
I mean, what else reason could there be? You know?
Right. So we're hoping, and this has always been the hope. There was the hope with AT&T, hope with Jason Kylar, and now hope with Discovery that someone will come along and say, we have a viable product here that we can market, and it's not just in the UK.
It trends. it trends every day. Every single day. Restore the Snyderverse trends. So
yeah.
I mean, it was rolling 2 days ago even, and yesterday I know released a Schumacher cut. Got its run and did a pretty good job trending all day.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's so many countless days where Restore the Snyderverse trends on Twitter, and I mean, the fans want it. The general audience wants it. I mean, I really
even
hope
Brad Paisley, Brad Paisley Restore the Snyderverse. I mean,
but I'm sure that Brad Paisley knows about the extended editions of Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
It's an inside joke. I knew about them, Ryan.
Richard's like, I actually worked on those films. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, they've been giving me a hard time all week just because I didn't have the chance to watch the extended editions of Lord of the Rings growing up. So it's been
he was
constant
deprived.
battle.
His parents didn't love him enough. So yes. He's only been treated with the Justice League.
We have a guest here, people.
So anyway, so 4Nerds, it's a really good show, and thank you everybody. Richard, do you have anything to add? No, joking.
Wow.
I know, right? So
that
guys,
Warner Brothers a little petty.
Yeah, you guys.
I felt like Warner Brothers a minute.
Phil Barker just told us to check Vero. So Zack has posted a picture on Vero that it's a very Dawson, cover your eyes.
Kind
of picture of Batman. And Zack posted it. So there we go. He said canon. There we go.
Nice.
It is canon. Yeah, DC did release.
Richard, are you aware that the past few days were
I'll bring it up.
They wanted some scenes removed from the Harley Quinn animated series. Wow, Zack is fire.
I was not aware of that. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Share and
did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. And this is the right there. There you go. I don't think I can zoom in, but
of course,
the bat is feasting.
Oh my gosh!
Apparently, this was a scene in the Harley Quinn show that DC asked the creators, "Hey, let's take that out because that's a little controversial," and so it became a buzz on the internet. And now Zack has posted a picture of Batman doing this, going down on Catwoman, and he put the words "canon."
It seems that he's at a Gotham buffet.
Oh my gosh! Ryan,
come
on!
It's not. Am I incorrect here?
That's very much correct.
And she's like meow.
Dude, too much.
Enough
too
of
much.
Okay, for Dawson, virgin eyes.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, I can't believe Zack just dropped that while we're
on behalf of everyone here, Richard. I apologize.
Richard's a grown man. He knows what's going on. No, it's
he knows what time it is. It's like,
hey,
hell yes, I'll be Batman again.
All right, recuperate. Let's get back on track here.
I think actually in a live action film that will qualify as a stunt. I'm pretty sure.
These guys are fighting. These guys would be fighting for that footage. He's like, oh no. It's like, stand back, stand aside, Ben. He's like, get out of here, Rich.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Richard just said?
No.
He said in his eyes he thinks that that's in live action that qualifies as a stunt. So
hey, on set he'll be like, "Okay, Ben, scoot over. This is a stunt. I have to take over. Let's go."
I carried Harley Quinn to that Batmobile in Suicide with a dislocated shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Took over and Ben kissed her.
Oh.
Come on, man.
He's like, I got this one.
Goodness gracious.
I've been practicing. I've been rehearsing this all week.
Oh, wow. This really went off the rails, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
I think the show just got better.
Yes.
Zach just sent the show off the rails right now just by his post.
He's probably watching. He's like, watch this.
To see if they notice.
In another news, the Justice League trended in the UK for 5 weeks. So
oh, there you go. There you go.
Number one. There we go.
So, but thank you again, Richard. It's been such a pleasure, man. I know you've been on here like so many times, but it feels like we could have you on practically every week. And yes, the Fifth Nerd is definitely something that we'll consider. Because I mean, dude, it's now that we've learned that your name is Cetrone, we'll have to start using that. So
nice.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, guys, as we close out for Richard? We'll start with you, Anthony.
Oh yeah, no, just Richard, we appreciate you coming on again. It's always a pleasure. I always like hearing from you about like this behind the scenes stuff, and with you finally being able to give us some of the secrets that you couldn't the last time because the movies hadn't come out yet. But yeah, I appreciate it. I know we all do, and we can't wait to have you back on the show again.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, Dawson, final thoughts, sir.
Yeah, I'll echo that. I mean, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Richard. You bring a lot of insight. You also just bring great, pleasant conversation, which is always a plus when you're looking for a fifth nerd, which you're sure will be in the mail tomorrow.
Branding.
Yes, branding. Yes, marketing. But no, we really appreciate you. We love your work. You do a fantastic job, and you do such a great job of just conversing with the fans, interacting with the fans, which just makes it such a great immersive experience that I'm very appreciative of, and I know everybody else watching and everybody else that are not watching appreciate very, very much. So for all that, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And Andre.
Yeah, Richard, and that was one of the things that, I really wanted to convey was that, and that's why we brought in all the questions from the fans, because, I just want you to know that as a fandom and as a fan base, we all of us appreciate everything that you have brought to the entertainment world, to Batman, to all these characters that we love, to Zeus. You've done such an amazing job with your career, and you've brought, surprisingly enough, you've brought a ton of happiness to a lot of people's lives based on what you've done. And
why is it surprising?
Because like in Zeus, he was a bad guy. He was killing people like, but at the end of the day, you brought a ton of happiness and a ton of action. And I just we just wanted you to know that we all thank you and appreciate everything that you do behind the scenes and on front and center, like you were on Army of the Dead.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
And before we close out, I just wanted to show you some Oscar-worthy stunt work that did, I believe, get nominated, and I'd like to get your thoughts on it.
You can't talk about that. Damon Carr worked on that movie. He's not going to turn on him.
Oh, we have one more shot. Fantastic.
That was fun.
I actually didn't see anything. I just got a blank screen, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's probably a good thing.
But no, thank you so much, for coming on the show multiple times, and we like the other guys have said, we really enjoy talking to you, and we love talking to you about these new projects that you're in. I mean, guys, I know that most of our audience has seen it, but if you haven't seen Army of the Dead, go check it out. Richard Cetrone is playing the lead zombie, and he sweated for 14 hours under silicone. So I mean, it's really worth the watch. If not for that,
it take 2 hours of your day to watch it. It's not that hard.
It gets better every time too. There's more details that you pick up on.
Yeah.
And well, actually, look real quick before you go. Did Zack say anything to you about did they ever set up the skeletons by the safe and you were like, hey, aren't those them? Did he ever explain to you like, oh yeah, that's the secret, Did he ever tell you any of the details of the story that we don't know about yet that you don't have to share with us? But did he give you any details?
He didn't talk about the skeletons with me at all. We did talk about stuff that's in the animated prequel. Though.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hear that, unfortunately, but.
Was there anything that you added or that about your character that did you create your own backstory or did Zack tell you your backstory?
He told me the backstory, but throughout filming, I tried to make choices that were, strong with the character, that I felt were strong with the character and what the character was doing in the scene. Like, I'll give you a quick, do we have time to give you a quick?
I thought that we were encroaching on your time, so that's why I was like, okay, let me, I didn't want to take up your whole evening, but yeah, I mean, dude. All right, so guys, we're going to be on for another hour.
So the scene where I turned Theo Rossi's character, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, like when you read that in the script, like you read that, he comes in, greets his queen, and then turns, bites the arm of Cummings and turns him into an alpha. Like that, I don't know if that's what it said, but that's kind of what you get out of it. Well, so as an actor, you're reading that and you're trying to figure out like how do I get the most out of this scene? What do I do in this scene that moves it along the best and the best for my character and really tells the audience something about my character that maybe isn't necessarily in the script. Mm-hmm. So with that, I talked to Theo and I said, hey, when you're doing your whimpering and stuff, like play it up if you can, if you don't mind. I'm not going to tell you you're an awesome actor. I'm not going to tell you how to do your thing, but if you're playing it up, I'm going to basically look at you and tell you to shut up. Right, because the way, and he was like, cool, like he was all in. He's like, cool, yeah, and he's amazing. Those were his choices, not mine. I don't want to make it seem like I told him what to do. I absolutely did not. Yeah, I just wanted him to be on the same page with me as far as me telling him to shut up. Because the way I looked at that scene was, I turned hundreds and hundreds of alphas. I do that all the time. That scene, even though the way it was written that I'm turning Theo, that scene for me was spending time with my queen and checking on the baby. That was my scene. And when he's doing his thing, he's bugging me, he's bothering me, and I'm telling him, shut up. This is nothing about you. This is about my queen. So for me personally, that choice helped me just get more out of the scene and get more involved in the scene. And then when I did turn to Theo, I thought it just worked so much better because he was a nuisance. He wasn't like my main priority, and he was amazing. I mean, I love that scene because he was just fantastic. He was just
he was.
Athena Parampa, who played my queen, if you watch that scene, she does these little things in that scene that just are amazing, and it was just a great performance by them both. So that's kind of like, I guess that's kind of answering your question.
Yeah, I mean, because that small decision of just like growling at him to shut up just again made the character much more complex and made it seem like he had a personality rather than simply being a zombie. Yeah. He has a purpose.
There's also an interesting
Zeus. Like I played him like it's funny because Zack would keep me in check, which I needed to be in check because Zack has his vision and I need to give Zack his vision. So he would tell me at times, okay, more animalistic, because I was always playing like this guy has a little bit of humanity still in him. And it comes out every now and then, and it's trying to force its way out, and every now and then you see it coming out. Right? So there's times when, it's going to make its way out there, and you're going to see he still has a little bit left. He still has a little bit left inside of him.
I like that. That's awesome.
It was cool.
And what were you going to say, Anthony?
Oh no, there's an interesting right after he Zeus obviously he's checking on his queen, checking on the baby. He stands up, and when he looks at him, he does his head nod to like bring him towards me. That is so fun. Like it's really small, but that's a very interesting, and I really like that little piece. Right, just it's real small in there. It's hardly, you might not even notice it if you're not paying attention. But he just like nods him to bring him on over to him. It's fire.
Yeah, thank you. My first acting teacher said, you always say more color to the palette, more color, and those little choices, I think, even if you don't perceive them, subconsciously you do. And it makes you feel something more about the character, right? I'll give you another one. You guys, Samantha Wynn, right?
Yeah.
Awesome, really great actress.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really getting to see what she can do. She's really good, and an awesome stunt performer as well. But that fight that she did, it was a really good fight. But honestly, I know Sam, that was easy for her. That fight was easy. That didn't really push her limits. But what really impressed me was her acting choices. I loved her acting choices. Do you guys remember that zombie, the first one that wakes up, she sticks it underneath? Yeah. Right? And do you remember the gag reflex she had?
Yeah, I asked her about that.
Yes.
I asked her.
She was like, oh, right?
Yeah.
It's like, that's your first kill.
Yeah.
So I talked to her a while back, and I said, hey, awesome. Was that your choice, or was that in the script? Did Zack tell you to do that? She goes, no, that was my choice.
Yeah, she said it was her, yeah.
Damn. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. It's things like that I love in movies. I love those in acting performances. They're really, they're gold. They're gold, so.
And it shows there's a lot of mental work that goes into it. Like you said, you think of what would the character actually do here? And it was like when Anthony talked to Samantha about that scene specifically in that moment, where she's like, okay, yeah, like you mentioned, this is her first time killing a zombie. This guy probably smells awful. And, you're probably thinking, oh, okay, this is where I would probably gag at this if I were this character. And it just makes sense.
Yeah. That's putting time in rehearsing. That's putting a lot of time. And it does, because you hit a wall. Like one of my acting teachers used to say 20 hours. I went 20 hours before you put a scene up. And you would do about 3, and you're like, what else am I going to do? I hit a wall. I don't have any more choices. This is as good as it's going to get. But you know what? If you keep going, things open up. You break through that wall. Like in running or any type of sport, when you're training, you hit a wall. And then you break through that wall, and you can keep going. It's the same thing. Once you break through that wall, you open up more things. And I thought it was a great performance by her. And not to take anything away from her fight, because her fight was really cool.
Yeah.
Fight in the movie, in my opinion, right? But I know Sam, I know what she's capable of, and that fight was cake for her. She's really talented. She's very talented.
Indeed, absolutely.
So then I guess when the Flash reverses time, and Zeus is his hair, his head's gonna reform because he's reversing time. So how are you going to be in the sequel? I guess I'm asking.
Guys? Honestly, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm really surprised how popular that character is. I mean, I'm really happy too. That the character I must have literally hundreds of women my son's age like friending me on Instagram all of a sudden.
There you go. There you go.
It's got to be the character.
I'll tell you why. I'll be the first to tell you why.
The character's really.
Yes. They're just like that Zeus. Yes, that's Zeus.
But I'm really happy that the character resonated with people. Because I don't know if I told you, but Zack. Did I tell you Zack told me this, in order for this movie to work, people have to empathize with the character. People have to feel something for the character.
Right.
Wow. So, and I'm really happy. It seems like maybe they did. And that's really great.
And I'm pretty sure there's some spot somewhere on my shelf for a Zeus action figure. So if any companies are listening, make it.
Make it and we'll buy it.
I would love to see that. That'd be so cool. Some of these people are just, I don't know. I can't say any names. I shouldn't say any names.
No. But yeah, go right ahead.
Go right ahead.
Sideshow, right? I mean, their stuff is so good. And what's the other one? Hot Toys.
Yeah. Oh my
Always,
gosh.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, let's name brands that I can afford.
Oh, okay. Weta works.
Weta, yeah.
Oh no.
Weta could do it. Yeah.
Like $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, what? So what you're saying is Cetrone's Zeus character is not worth that, Dawson? Is that what
I'm saying? I don't have enough money for that.
So did you actually get how far along? Because we saw some concept art of Zeus actually having a crown of horns. Did you actually get through? Did they bring that from proof of concept to like maybe trying it out with prosthetics or anything, or was that already out the window by the time it was time to sculpt?
I seem to remember trying that on in pre-production, going through the fittings and everything, but it never made its way to filming.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Interesting. Yeah, because I mean, I saw the art and it was really dope. But yeah, I just I was like, man, that would have been interesting. I wondered, like, I guess were they horns or antlers or something else? It just seemed to me like, and you don't have to answer this, but it just seems to me like it's something that is sort of growing through and on to the humans, the human hosts, and that might be where that would come from, because I mean, that's just not normal for a skull or tissue or whatever to sort of form on a zombie.
I don't, I didn't think of it like that, but I don't know, maybe.
And like barnacles, kind of,
or like roots of a hair, Dawson.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Tell us about the roots, Dawson.
No. No.
But Richard,
last time I tried doing that, no.
Yeah, exactly. But and Richard, like we were saying earlier, thank you so much for coming on here, and I really, 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 really hope that you get that call from Zack saying, "Hey, we're gonna do Justice League Part 2. We're gonna do whatever else is coming for that universe, and hopefully more Army of the Dead as well." I mean,
yeah. Because what's funny, I was talking to Andre the other day. I was like, we're 5 years later, and Justice League 2 was supposed to take place 5 years later from the Justice League 1 movie. So I was like,
right
perfect timing. Yeah, we're right on par. Let's go.
Yeah. I think Zack is on record as saying he would absolutely do it, isn't he? Right? Didn't he say
yeah.
Yes, he said that he just needs the go ahead. Yeah. So we're down to watch it. And maybe
we're down to watch it, definitely.
And perhaps being in the background character, I don't know, whatever.
If you need a stunt double,
whatever you can do.
I will be there
if you need a stunt double. I'm not 6'3", but
I'm only 5'7".
We can do like the Lord of the Rings, forced perspective.
Yeah, I can stand in a
like
box.
that.
I mean, I'm 6'4". I can easily fill in.
But I mean, I guess Cetrone, I'm more close to your body type. I got a six-pack going.
Richard, just know that I will throw myself to a wall to be on set with you, okay?
As long as the wall's made through plaster.
Yeah, it's made out of latex.
Andre gets a concussion.
Yeah.
They're like, "Why'd you bring him along?" You're like, "I don't know." All right, let's go. They just dragged me off.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining us, man. Yes. And you're welcome anytime. Actually, just hit us up whenever you want to come back, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Yes.
I certainly appreciate that, and thank you guys for having me back on. It's always an enjoyable conversation. You guys are awesome, and I really, really appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, that means a lot, especially since Ryan hosted. I mean, that's saying something.
Yeah, we're on pins and needles when he hosts. We're like,
that's because I'm a wild card, baby. You never know what I'm going to say. Thank you to everybody in the chat and everybody who has submitted questions for Richard. That was really helpful, and we loved it. And yeah, we'll see you next time. So. Later.